going to be going over my 15-minute hold-term project. So I made the Lala stock strategy optimizer, which basically takes in a user's stock strategy and backtests it against a constant set of historic price stock data, and it then mutates the parameters of a given strategy and continues to test it until it can find um, the parameters that yield the best results, which would be the highest amount of return for a stock trade. So basically, we're optimizing the trading strategy of an analyst or a trader. So let's get started. Let's look at the info and algorithm. So here's some information on the three algorithms that I've coded in here. It's a momentum-based trading algorithm, mean reversion, and my own Lala algorithm that I wrote. And then we can go to instructions, and then it just tells you you're entering in specific information given text boxes in order to enter in your parameters. So let's hit S to begin. So right now I'm going to start with momentum. Base trading algorithm at the timeline of 10 days, a percent threshold of 1, and a stock ID for Apple. And then we'll simulate the trade and we'll show the results. And so it's telling me that I entered in the momentum-based strategy with a timeline of 10 days and a percent threshold of 1, as we saw. And it believes that a momentum-based strategy with a timeline of 22 and a percent threshold of 4 would yield better results. And if you want to know how the computer actually arrived at that result, we can hit R, as says below, and it's going to show me all of the calculations that the computer did and the steps, all the strategies that were generated through the genetic algorithm and the result of the backtesting, the dollar amount of returns. And so the top one, number 1, is the one I entered in. And this is the order by which the computer tested these results. So as you can see, it doesn't actually go in increasing order, but this is more so through mutations, generating all of these results and then returning the one with the greatest amount of returns, which in this case was number 6. Timeline of 22 and a percent threshold of 4, which is what it says here again, with a return of $1,251.69. And if I hit G, I can actually see a graph of that trade. And I bought, as you can see at the beginning of the graph, and green is when it's above my buying price, and red is when it's below the buying price for this specific strategy. So as you can see, this is just a graph of the trade that with the parameters that yielded the most amount of return. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of what the user cares about. So we only displayed this one graph for a specific trading algorithm. It's been optimized. And so if I go back, that table of iterative results actually it does update in real time. So if I were to change my input and simulate the trade again, this table with my initial input and the best output changes. And then if I hit R, you can see that this table has also changed. It's no longer generated 16 results because it's only generated 8 because the other 8 yielded results that were worse than the one that I entered in. And for that reason, it doesn't display them, right? As a user, you really only care about steps towards more return. You don't really want to see strategies that will yield less return. And for that reason, this kind of also declutters the table and the UI a little bit for the user. They're not seeing any information that they shouldn't be seeing or don't want to see at a given moment. Again, the graph would be the same for this because it's the same strategy. And this also works for another one, mean reversion. This is another strategy with the same parameters of a timeline. We'll put this back at 10 days, a percent threshold of 1, and stock will change this to Google. We'll simulate the trade, and then we're going to show the results of that. Here says you can see this table updated, so now it's saying that I entered mean reversion, and it's given me a better mean reversion strategy with better parameters. If I want to hit R, I can see how it did that. Now I got there, and as you can see, the numbers have changed. Obviously, the strategy and the stock have changed, but also the strategies have changed, the parameters have changed that it believes are the most optimal. But at the end of the day, the mean reversion strategy with a timeline of 15 and a percent threshold of 4 yielded the greatest return. And we can see a graph of the mean reversion, which has $1,921.05, which is the return on that strategy. As you can see, the graph's a little bit different here. Mean reversion is a different kind of strategy than momentum in the way that it buys, and for that reason, the graph looks a little bit different. Basically, it's the idea that it always will revert back to some kind of a mean. And so when it's doing that, it's green, and when it's diverting and going below that, it's red, which is why it's green even below this buying line, because technically you're not losing money, you're on the up. For this particular strategy, and it's red, obviously, when you're dipping below and you're starting to lose money. And again, I'll show you now my Lala alg. That should be stock ID. And as you can see, it handles error. It doesn't crash. So if you were to enter in something spelled incorrectly, it'll tell you that you've entered an invalid field. Prompt you to enter in a correct one. So the Lala algorithm only takes in 2 parameters, and that's a timeline. Again, we'll leave it at 10. And a stock, so we'll put it at out. And we'll simulate the trade. And we'll show the results. So as you can see, it refreshed again. Now it's saying that I entered in a Lala algorithm-based strategy with a timeline of 10 days. And it's telling me that 15 would have been a better timeline. And I can click R to see. It's generated my results and the better results. And if I want to see some more data, I can change the timeline. So 22 seemed to be the timeline that yielded the most amount of return for the other 2 strategies. So let's see what that does for me here. It actually only yielded $57 in return. So as you can see, it is still generating all possible strategies, and it's outputting those here. So even with the Lala algorithm, it does follow the same sort of testing strategy of continuing to test until it cannot find another unique strategy and only outputting the ones that are better than what we have here. So that is my term project. Here's the splash screen again, with a randomized stock graph that's drawn every time you click, and that's about it. Thank you.